Hello and welcome to this video. Today I am going to be showing you how I do my makeup when I am either at family practice or at the hospital, basically interacting with patients, and I need to look like a professional woman. Yes, and also I'm going to be talking about my experience in first year. In editing this video, I realized a few things. One, I did not have a mirror while I did this, so don't judge my makeup skills. And the other thing is, I did not introduce myself. My name is Kian. I just finished my first year of medical school, and I also make vlogs here on YouTube, so please subscribe if that kind of stuff floats your boat. Anyways, back to the tutorial on. So starting with moisturizer, Cetaphil, fragrance-free, yes, love it. So let's talk about first year medical school. I honestly cannot believe that first year is over and I'm a quarter of the way through medical school. It's actually like very scary to think about because within the next 2 to 3 years, I will be making some major decisions which could ultimately impact the rest of my life. Next step, SPF. But the experience overall has been very positive. I think the biggest change between undergrad and medical school was basically like not the quality of the education, but the quality of the resources made available. I had some excellent professors in undergrad, but so I don't think the teaching quality was that different, but our lectures were recorded so you could rewatch them and you can watch them on like double time speed, and like the lecture halls were just really nice. They had nicer chairs, you had like a microphone that you could press. Every seat in the lecture hall had like 2 outlets so you could charge stuff while you were there. Maybe you went to a really nice undergrad school and that was the same, but that was a nice change in my opinion when we came to medical school. As for workload, honestly, it's hard to say if medical school was more or less work. I'm using L'Oreal LUMI True Match Foundation, just patting it on right now. The reason why I think it's hard to tell if it was more or less work or the same is basically like the hedonic treadmill effect, where basically if things get harder or things get busier, you essentially just adapt and then that becomes your new normal. So like in undergrad, it was like, okay, this is busy, this is a lot of work, I'm stressed, but you just like carry on and you keep doing it. And like same thing in med school, you'd be like, okay, this is a lot of work, I'm busy and I'm stressed. But was it more or less? I don't really know. I think for me, I think a big difference was like pre-med and undergrad, I was essentially doing other things besides school to help get into medical school. So I was volunteering and I was tutoring and I was teaching music, and like I was doing other things outside of school, whereas once medical school started, I moved away, so like a lot of these things couldn't continue, but ultimately like I was doing a lot of those things to prepare myself for medical school. So to continue some of those things, like volunteering in the hospital, like I'd kind of gotten everything out of that learning experience I could have, and just like moving on to a different phase. So basically what this meant, now I'm using Stay Matte by RIMMEL, was that all those things kind of came to a halt once medical school started. And obviously like I picked up more things, like I joined the med school choir, I went to various like panel interview nights about different resident specialties, and like I played sports, but it wasn't to the same degree as pre-med, so I guess I just had more time to dedicate to school. So maybe it's not easier or harder, but you just kind of shift focus. That's what I would say. In terms of like the med school curriculum, our school does what is called a spiral curriculum system. And yes, it's an interesting topic amongst faculty and students. Next, I'm gonna do my brows. This is hilarious. Basically what I do is I take my pinky, dip it in some like brown eyeshadow, and drag it across my brow. Yeah, so faculty and students I think have very mixed feelings about the spiral curriculum. Basically what it is rather than doing blocks, like a month of learning everything there is to know about the heart, we will do a week about the heart in first year, and then we'll do like another week in second year. And the idea is that because we're getting reintroduced to similar material, we will remember it better and retention will be better. So yeah, and like speaking to doctors who teach, they say that like they haven't really noticed a difference in third year medical students in terms of like their knowledge when they get quote pimped. It's basically where like a doctor will quiz you on things that you're supposed to know as you're a third year medical student, and you actually literally know nothing, and the things that you did know you forget. Yeah, they said that like they haven't really noticed a difference. One lady said she feels like the med students remember like slightly more about subjects, but they're a lot less confident on their knowledge. And that kind of makes sense because you haven't had like a full dedicated period to just dig deep and learn about certain systems. And like in studying, you don't have time to like dig deep and get like a lot of background information and like go into all the readings rather than like knowing something to the end. But I don't know, that is my personal experience. Eyeshadow is going to be, oh, I should talk about the lips actually. This is a Quo matte liquid lipstick, and anytime I ever wear lipstick in videos, it's a Quo matte liquid lipstick. They don't have names, this just came in a holiday collection. But yes, I have gotten multiple comments on my videos being like, what lipstick is that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, people like my look. So that's your answer. Eyeshadow, same thing. I basically dip a finger in and brush over my eyelids. It's pretty high tech. You need a lot of skills for my makeup looks, but you know, this is what we do. So yeah, in terms of content, it's weird. Obviously I don't know any different because I haven't been part of a block system, but it is like annoying in terms of finding resources and books, because like if you find a great chapter in cardiology, what you're learning in lecture is only going to be like 30% of what that chapter covers. So you have to like sift through what parts of the chapter you're going to read or like work to retain, and that decision process itself can be time consuming and exhausting. And the same goes for finding practice questions. So a lot of people in medical school use question banks in order to test themselves and see where they're at, but that works great for a block system because you can just get questions on whatever block you're doing. But if you're in a spiral system, you need like to again sift through the questions that you should know based on what you've learned, because you've only learned like 25% of a subject, which like is too time consuming and just not realistic. And then if you're sifting through the questions you should know, like you have to review the answers, and it's just like a waste of time. Another thing I noticed in medical school was I was like a lot younger than other people. So if you watched my videos on advice for pre-meds, I talked about like GPA, MCAT, research, what degree you need, blah, blah, blah. And part of the research I did for these videos was looking at med school's admission statistics, just to give like averages on what kind of GPAs actually get you into medical school, what kind of MCATs, and so on. But part of the admission statistics, depending on the school, is age of the people that are accepted. And like, I'm not the youngest person to ever get accepted, but if you had like a bell curve of the ages, the average is like 25, 26, like just after you finish your degree. And like the really young end is like 20, and then the old end, it's kind of like pulled out. There's some outliers, but it's like early 30s. And you know, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with being accepted at whatever age you are. But for me, it was weird. I just felt like, not that I was a lot more immature than my peers, but just that I didn't have the life experience needed for like introspective understanding. Like, what I mean by that is a lot of these people have had time to, I don't know, just like do their soul searching and figure out what kind of lifestyle they want financially, where they want to live. People already have kids, they've worked different jobs, they've figured out their strengths. So yeah, I don't know, I just feel like these people that are like a few years older than me have just had more time to figure out where they sit in terms of their values when it comes to maybe controversial medical topics. This weird confidence, I think, that comes with age and just knowing who you are as a person. I think they have that, and I am still working on that, which is fine, but it's just kind of intimidating. Anyways, that is the end of this video. That's my completed makeup look. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.